Hello and welcome to Empowering Talks. I'm your host, Inji Mohib, and I am joining you from day one of the Forbes Middle East Women's Summit. And I'm joined by Walid Aboulnaga, the founder of Nafas Journeys. It is so great to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to ask you, first of all, they call you Abu Nafas. I heard that name a lot. Tell me a little bit about that name. What does it mean? What's the story behind it?
It's a beautiful story. I grew up in Egypt, and at 12 years old, I started playing judo. And my coach looked at me and he said, "This young man, nafasu ma bikhlas." He doesn't run out of air. And he nicknamed me ever since Abu Nafas. And I didn't know for 35 years my destiny would be launching Nafas and sharing the breath. So I'm really, really excited to have that name. I think names are important and they symbolize something special.
That's definitely true. And I want to get more into your journey. So tell me a little bit about how it started, because you had like a shift from leading, massive teams across the Middle East and North Africa to guiding individuals on like deeply spiritual journeys. That's a big shift. Tell me a little bit about that.
At the end of the day, it sounds big, but they're the same. You come from leading, you come from structure and organization. When you have all that, it's the same thing. But in the healing journey, it's slightly different. And in the past, with my marketing and digital media agency, it's a lot of structure, a lot of planning, a lot of go-to drive and conquering, keep on going. And I think at some point, I didn't have the tools to deal with stress, to deal with situations. I was younger, more naive. And I always say, had I known then what I know now, I would have changed so many things. So at some point, almost 11, 12 years ago, I had this kind of burnout. I had pain in my head. I had a lot of issues falling asleep, taking painkillers and sleeping pills. And throughout my journey, I went to the hospital, and when I did an MRI, the doctor said I had something called trigeminal neuralgia. It's a chronic pain in the nerves. And because of it, he said, we're going to open my brain, remove a small piece of my skull and, freeze some nerves. And the moment he said that, it was kind of the shock. It was the moment that I knew this was the change. So I refused surgery in the traditional way. And I said I wanted to travel to find healing with alternative modalities. And that led me to almost everywhere where today I take people from Mexico, Costa Rica, Peru, Jamaica, Bali, where I live. And the foundation of it all is the breath, or it's nafas.
I love that. I love how you wanted to get this approach of treating the issue from the root cause, because this was caused by stress, right?
The main factor was stress, multiple other factors, but at the end of everything, at the core is stress.
Yeah, and it manifested physically, but then you decided, no, I want to actually treat the root cause. I'm going to go find healing and have my own journey. And I really love that. So tell me a little bit about Nafas Journeys. What I know about it is that it combines breath work, adventure, self-reflection. So how did these elements sort of come together? And what is like the core concept or the goal behind Nafas Journeys?
In summary, one word would be awareness. So what we try to do is share with people to remember their true inner essence, that everything lies within. And we've kind of summarized it into 4 N's. Nature is a healer. Come to beautiful places and connect with nature, ground in nature, under the waterfalls, within the mountains. Nature is an ultimate healer. Number 2 is nafas, the breath work. And breathing is a chance to connect, to find clarity, to find answers, to release. Nurture, which is the body, locally sourced produce with incredible chefs that make food that nourishes the soul. And lastly is everything that's natural, which we add the elements that have helped me on my journey, from cacao ceremonies to ice baths, sound healing, to purifications underwater and waterfalls. So when we add them all together, what we've launched is something called the Soul Venture. And that's the adventure for your soul, bridging adventure and spirituality. And when you combine them, when they unite, that's when I think the healing takes place.
So it's like a very holistic approach to healing. I love that. And you also work with so many different people, like individuals, global organizations, even in schools. So across all of these different groups, I guess, what are the patterns or the transformations that you think have stood out to you or noticed when people truly like slow down and they breathe and they reconnect with mind, body, and spirit in the way that you just mentioned?
You said it, it's slow down. I think COVID and the pandemic time sped up my plan. I had a plan to really focus on the children because I have 3 daughters, and I launched something called Nafas Juniors. But what happened during the pandemic is everybody needed this help online more than any time ever. And I started to focus on the young kids, college, high school, because a lot of people were stressed out and they didn't have tools and means. And the breathwork for the younger, a little bit different. But when you talk about families, women, corporates, it's a universal pattern, which means it's all the same. You find that peace, that sense of calm, that connection, no matter how old you are or where you are. And that's what it's about. I've realized everyone needs to find something to help them ground, to find peace. And today we're living in a world that's changing faster than ever before. And as it's changing, there's uncertainty, there's burnout, there's disconnection on a global level. And because of that, we try to come back to that inner world.
I think a lot of people, like this is going to resonate with many, many people because of what you said. This is a very fast-paced world that we're living in. And I think whether we realize it or not, we hold so much tension within us. And once you become aware of that, that is what really makes all the difference. So finally, like, because your work is rooted in this idea of living freely and simply. So you've said a few pieces of advices there that I really liked, but if you could leave people with one piece of advice or principle or maybe practice that could bring more ease and clarity into their lives, what do you think it would be?
I would come back to the first word one more time, which is awareness, being aware, being conscious of your breath, of your inner dialogue in the mind, whether it's negative spiraling thoughts, but really it's awareness. They say half the healing journey is being aware that there's something that needs to be fixed or maybe adjusted. So what I would invite people to do is to take a breath, and even one conscious breath, just that can put you in that incredible state of grounding, truth, balance. So maybe one thing that I would really invite is to take 3 conscious breaths, 3 connected breaths, maybe every hour, using those phones, those watches, the reminders, and alarm, until you're aware. My journey with all the training and all the wonderful breath work I've done was just allowing me to be conscious when the moments I'm stressed, when the moments my heart's beating, whenever I'm in shallow breathing, to just come back to the breath. So coming back to just being connected is the step 1, and it's very simple, yet people tend to pass it by.
Amazing, amazing note to end on. And thank you so much for your insights. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you for joining us today.